Hello, I'm TFR Wilderness and welcome to my channel. And before I get started, you will probably have noticed that the thumbnail on this video, it says TFR review whatever number, and there's a big question mark. I haven't actually put any pictures or any names of the figure that I'm reviewing in this video, and the reason for that is, well, quite simply put, my last video, Tobot Athlon Vulcan, did a review on it, just a normal, sort of KTRT review, put it up, and in the first 24 hours, it only got like six, well, was it 6 or 12 views? It got an absolutely pathetic amount of views in its first 24 hours, and I was really, really disappointed with the performance of that video, even though it wasn't anything special. I expected more. I mean, I've noticed on my channel, even though I'm getting more and more subs, and I've got more subscribers now than I've ever had, my viewing figures for my KTRT bots are on the decrease, whereas my subscribers are on the increase, and I just can't understand why. So in an effort to address this, I've taken the steps of putting a question mark or just removing details or information on the thumbnail picture which is displayed on the video as it goes up on the channel, so you won't know what I'm reviewing. There'll be a big question mark, and the reason being, if you want to know what I reviewed, you're going to have to watch the video and in such give me some extra views. So that's the reason behind it. I'm sorry I had to resort to this. I'm not the sort of person who complains about poor performance or lack of views on my videos, and you see other YouTubers doing it, and I'm thinking, why are you complaining? And I think, well, I just don't understand why I'm getting such a paltry sort of viewing figures on these videos that I put so much time and effort into making, even though I would never ever monetize my channel. I'd never do Patreon or anything like that. I never expect anybody to pay any money to watch me. I just do it for the hell of it, and even when people aren't even watching the videos that you put up, it's kind of disappointing and disheartening. Sometimes it makes me wonder, why the hell do I keep doing this? But anyway, rant. Well, it's not exactly a rant. It's just let's draw a line under that and just move on to the review in question. Yes, it is a KTRT review. Now, interesting story with this one. This figure that I've got to show you today is not the one I wanted to show you. How so, I hear you ask? Well, as I did Tobot Athlon Vulcan in the last review, I also bought at the same time Tobot Athlon Tornado, which is the sole remaining, or the only Tobot Athlon Season 2 figure that I haven't got. Now, what I did was I bought Vulcan from Mr. Soon, my usual plastic crack dealer on eBay. No problems. I've bought loads of stuff from him. Most of my KTRT robots I bought through him. No problems. And the Tobot Athlon Tornado I bought from a guy called Korean Salesman. Now, I've bought stuff from Mr. Korean Salesman before, and I've never had any problems with him. But for some reason, this time, basically, I put it on, it was on the 1st, which was a Friday. I did the order on the 1st, and then I was up at Bury that weekend. So I placed the order on the Friday. It went through. I got a notification from eBay, yeah, you bought the item, blah, blah, blah. And then I got a thing saying, oh, it's going to take this long to be shipped, and it gave me a tracking code, right? So I got the notification to say that I'd bought the item. Anyway, went up to Bury, and while I was up at Bury over the weekend, I got a notification. I got an email message from the seller saying, sorry, sir, I'm out of stock of this item. Sincerest apologies. Would you like a refund or choose something else from my shop at a 5% discount? And I thought, what's going on here? So yeah, apparently this seller, he thought he had the items in stock, and he sent through the shipping notification to say, yeah, I've shipped it, but he hadn't actually shipped it, if that makes any sense. Basically, he'd shipped it before he said he'd shipped it before he sent it out, which is a bit naughty, to be honest. But anyway, turns out when he went into his storehouse, he found out to his surprise that he was out of stock, and thus I had to, gave me the options. So I decided, I looked through his stuff he was selling, other stuff he was selling, and I saw another figure that I quite like the look of, and it says, I tell you what, I'll go for that one. And this is the subject of this review. So the figure I've got to review to you today is from the Tobot line, the original Tobot line, and it is this guy. This is Tobot. I think he's called Adventure. He's one of the Adventure figures, but I'm not 100% sure. Taekwon K. Now, Taekwon, as in Taekwondo, the Korean martial arts. Yeah, there is. It is some link to that. Now, I've sort of been meaning to get this guy, but I've seen some reviews on it, and it looked, pretty chunky and simplistic, and I sort of passed on it. But just recently, I've seen the Tobot movie. Now, Young Toys, the company that make Tobots, they started out with Tobots, and the original Tobot series ran for something like 19 seasons, and it was ridiculous how long it went for, and it spawned a whole plethora of toys, including this guy. Some of the figures got, they got reworks or reboots. They changed their shape, like X and Y both got their original mode, their evolution mode, and then their adventure mode. But some of the other figures that came on later, they just had a single form and they didn't get remolded. But anyway, that series came and went, and then they moved on to Tobot Athlon, and Tobot Athlon ran for 3 seasons, and then that stopped about, Tobot Athlon stopped, 2 years ago? They stopped making that, and we haven't had anything from the Tobot line since. Now, Young Toys also did a show called Biclons, which I was a big fan of, and I've got all the Biclon figures, but that came to an abrupt end a number of years ago when they decided, the Biclons figures aren't doing so well, so they pulled the plug on the entire line. They cancelled the toy line, cancelled the show. Episode 14 of season 5 or whatever it was, it got chopped, and they cut it out. And then they came back with Geomecha Beast Guardian, which ran for 1 season. Then you had the follow-up season, Geomecha Captain Dino. But that was just 2 seasons. At the end of Captain Dino, which was last year, they seemed to wind that series up to a finish, as if to say, there's going to be no more of this. And it's like, well, seeing as Young Toys have basically ditched all their transforming robot toy lines, what the hell are they doing? Anyway, last year, they released a movie for the Tobot series, and it's called Tobot Attack of the Robot Force. And I heard it was coming out, but I hadn't seen it, and it's only just recently I've managed to watch this movie on YouTube, obviously the Korean version. Apparently it's getting an international release. I've seen some international trailers that have either got subtitles, I don't know whether they've dubbed it, but anyway, I think it's going to get an international release, but I don't know when that's going to happen. But I have watched the film, and it's very good, and they've set the movie sort of halfway through the season run of the original Tobot show, roughly about halfway through, because you've only got the Tobot X, Y, no, Evolution X, Evolution Y, Tobot W, and what was the other one? Well, some of the later Tobots aren't in it, basically. But what it does show you in this movie is how Taekwon K came about, because the kids, they go to stay at this martial arts dojo or whatever it is with this kid. I think his name's, well, I think the English name for him is Sawyer, but he's called something else. Anyway, he lives with his dad, and his dad's this Taekwon teacher, and he's a bit headstrong, and he's like, he's all Mr. Action Man. But the kid is there, and they get the old the glowing mind core thing, and he's looking after it, and eventually towards the end of the show, Taekwon K comes out, and so it kind of made me, after watching this film, it kind of made me, you know what, I want to get Taekwon K, so I've got him now. But he was a booby prize, because I was meant to be getting Tobot Athlon Tornado, but I got this instead. Oh well, such is life. Anyway, so this is his alt mode. It's a big green Jeep. It's very big, very heavy, very chunky. It's got sort of molded lenses in the front. It's got nice details and paint apps going around. And one thing I do like on it, I don't know whether you can see it. Come on, focus. You can see there's like like a grainy texture on the sides of the wheels. They are plastic, but they've been textured to look like rubber, and it's like a rough texture, and it's pretty cool actually. It's really awesome. The tread's still shiny plastic, but anyway, it's a nice looking vehicle. It's got transparent lenses in the back. Now it's also got this bit on the top which comes off, so you can take that off, this like roof rack, this roof box thing. Now this is like a light and sounds module. It's got a battery compartment which takes 2 AAA batteries, and it's got a little switch on the top which you flick, and then these little LED lights come on. But it's also got a button which you press and get voice clips, but we'll have a look at that later on. So that comes off, so that comes off the top of the vehicle. Now also comes with the tow key. Now it's actually in the form of like a pen knife, so you've got 2 little blades that flick out. It's got a spork and the tow key which you use for the transformation. But before we get into that, let's have a quick look at the packaging. So here's the box he came in. It was kind of battered up when I got it. The sides were a bit crinkled, but that's the kid, and as you can see, he's in a martial arts pose. Yeah, it does say adventure on there, so he is an adventure type. So you look on the back now. You can see, got the kid doing a big high kick, and then you've got the robot doing a high kick as well. Now, as you saw in the thumbnail on the start of this video, not the one I posted up with the question mark, it is possible to get this guy into a high kick pose, but we'll probably look into that when we get to the robot mode. So yeah, there's the box, and it comes with the usual sort of transformation instructions. It shows you how to transform it. It's fairly simplistic to transform. It's got the thing on the back. It's a level 1, so it's fairly simple. And it also comes with this little catalogue, which is shows you all the products that you can buy. There's Taekwon K, and you've got Tobot 0, Tobot R, who I've got, Tobot C, who I've got no interest in getting. And then you've got the combiners. You've got Quantron and Deltatron, Tobot D, Tobot Adventure Z, Adventure Y, the helicopter. I'm not going to bother with him. Might get Adventure X, I don't know. But anyway, so it came with that as well. So the actual vehicle itself, it's got big pinned wheels. It rolls extremely well. There's not much more you can say about it. It's a big chunky Jeep thing. Cool little figure. Now, transformation. It's got a little slot in the back. Put in the key, give it a turn, and it breaks open the back end. Starts the transformation. You don't really need the tow key to transform this guy. Some of the Tobots you do. Some of them, because these things peg together very firmly. Some of them, and you do need the tow key to jam in there to release the catches that hold the thing together. But this guy doesn't really need it. So now, the best thing to do is to start with the arms. So pull the arms out to the side. Then you can straighten the legs and turn them round. Then you've got the feet. Flick the feet out, and then there's a little cover panel that you fold round that comes from the inside there and folds round, and then just clicks into place. And you straighten them out, and then you've got the fists that fold round in the arms, and then you've got the backpack. You pull this bit down the front, turn this round, clip it in, and then fold this this piece over, and there we go. There is Tobot K, or Taekwon K, in his robot mode, and he does look very cool. This guy looks really awesome. I love the colours. I like the sort of, it's almost got like an army man sort of shape about him. He's got the little Korean logo on the shoulder. He's wearing a flak helmet. Yeah, he's got army boots on, you know, so it's got a really cool aesthetic going on. He looks really good. Pretty fun transformation. Fairly typical Tobot transformation, very simplistic. Now, this guy, now you get the backpack, and it's got 2 pegs there, so the backpack will clip on there. You can't actually do anything with this. It doesn't actually peg on anywhere, but then again, the toe keys are held by the pilots, or you know, the kids that control the Tobot. So it's no use to this guy. Now, as I said before, the reason I hadn't picked this guy up before was because I thought it's kind of simplistic, and now that I've got it in hand, I can see why I didn't get this guy sooner. Articulation. Now, considering this guy is supposed to be able to pull off, you know, martial arts moves like that, high kicks and God knows what else, you know, poses like that. As is so typical with Tobot, he hasn't got the joints to do it. He can't do martial arts poses because he hasn't got the joints. No bicep swivels, no thigh swivels. He has got a waist joint. He has got a waist joint as part of transformation. Yeah, and what joints he has got, yeah, articulation. That only goes round to there, and then it goes down to there. Now it is on this joint that can go up to there, but it just has 2 clicks. It's part of the transformation. Nothing on the head. Head is fixed. Arms, 45 degrees. They can go 45 degrees backwards, and they can go 45 degrees forwards. They've got, was it 2 clicks? Again, disappointing. Hasn't got 90-degree elbows. Has got a waist joint because of transformation. Now, hips. Hips are not bad. He does the full splits. They go that far forwards and that far back. Knees. Now, again, 45 degree on the knees. Disappointing. And the feet. Now, the feet are on these joints, which can go from there all the way up to there. So you can sort of mess around with them a little bit, I suppose. Now, you can sort of replicate the high kick pose, but it's very tricky. He's not very well balanced. He has got the angled cut on his feet, so that he's got a neutral A stance when he's stood up. But you can just about get him in a kind of a, you know, like a high kick pose. He will hold it, but only just. But that's about all the poses you can get him in because of the lack of articulation on this guy. And again, very disappointed. But then again, it's a Tobot, and Tobots, out of all the KTRT bots, are probably some of the worst for the intermediate articulation. Car bots, they usually come with thigh swivels, usually. And car bots also have fully articulated heads. Tobots, not so much. Another thing, the fists, they're kind of loose. it's easy to just knock them and just knock them back into the little pockets they come out of the doors. So yeah, he's disappointing, very disappointing, and that's a pity, because he's a big, colourful looking bot. He's really cool, and you know, I'll show you how big he is as a size comparison next to Leader Megs, and as you can see, yeah, he's slightly bigger than a leader class bot. So you know, he's big, he's chunky, he's, you know, heavy, very heavy. But it's just a shame, you know. You'd have thought they'd have put a few extra joints in this guy, and I know they do it for cheapness, they do it for, you know, cost-cutting measures, but they could have, you know, give him some thigh swivels, they could have given him some fist rotations, they could have had the elbows that actually went to 90 degrees, the same with the knees. You know, they could have give him some meaningful articulation so that he can actually pull off some of the, you know, martial arts poses that he's supposed to do. And you've got a later figure, is it Cargo? He's also does martial arts. I think he's like does Shaolin or something like that. Yeah, so there's another one that does martial arts. But yeah, so that's him. That's my review of Tobot Taekwon K. He's big, he's chunky, he's heavy. He's got ratchets, as they do. He looks cool. He looks really cool. He's got a great aesthetic. The Jeep mode's really good. And oh yeah, before I forget, the voice pack. Now, obviously, you flick on the lights, and then you press this button to get some voices out of it. Now, this thing has got a lot of voice clips on it. I don't know how many. Probably about a dozen, 15 voice clips. They're all in Korean, obviously. There are certain words that you can recognise, but there is a lot of them. And obviously the little things flash on the front, as little lights flash on the front as well. So yeah, that's pretty cool. If it did English voice clips, you know, would be good. Like I said, it takes 2 AAA batteries, but that's a decent little feature. But the rest of it, again, disappointment, and you can see the reason why I didn't go for this guy earlier on. This is why I'm picking them up now, because there's not much else out there that I really want. I'm just picking up the stragglers, so to speak, the bots that I sort of passed over before because of one reason or another, and this is just one of them. And as you can see, the reasons why. Now, as I said, Tobots seem to have died a death with young toys, but actually in recent times there's been a few developments. One, there's a new YouTube channel come up called Tobot English that is posting up English dubbed episodes of the original Tobot series, and I imagine they're going to get through all the Tobot seasons eventually. You know, fingers crossed they will, all like 19 seasons of it. So yeah, I've been watching that, and that's up to episode 20 so far, so I've been watching that. And obviously I've seen these episodes before in their original Korean format, but I'm watching them now in English, so they actually make some sense, and I can understand what's being said, and you know, it's pretty good. My only thing about them is when Koreans dub their shows into English, the English translations of the Korean language, it seems a little lackluster, if that means a thing. You know, they're a bit because the Korean voice has got, you know, a certain amount of, you know, sort of passion and you know, intensity to it that is quite endearing, and that doesn't get carried across with the English dub. And you get that with Japanese dubs as well sometimes of certain shows, because we all know how, you know, Japanese female voices are very shrill, and you know, they sort of gabble away at like 1,000,000 miles an hour, and then when you get the English version, it's like it's not a patch on it. But anyway, so there's that. There's the Tobot English channel's been set up, but also in the last couple of days from Young Toys, we've got a teaser advert for Tobot V, a new series of Tobot that's coming soon. I assume it's going to have a new range of toys to go with it. They've kept this quiet, and they've just announced it. Looks like a reboot to me. I don't know whether it's a continuation of the previous Tobot shows. I doubt it. It looks like they're going in a different direction. They're going a bit more futuristic with it. Haven't really seen much of the robot designs in this this trailer, but it looks interesting. I'll be interested to see how it goes, because I need some new figures to get my KTRT fix. To be honest, I mean, I'm looking at other lines that I've not really gone for before, like Dino Core. You've got the new Dino Core series, Dino Core Evolution, where you've got the Tyranno and Tree Evolution, Tyranno and Tree, which actually transform properly instead of it being like a parts forming like Megazord type bot. And then you've got the new season of Miniforce X. They've got brand new mechs that form into a Gestalt that looks amazing. It's got a very much a like a Gundam aesthetic going on this time, rather than the simplistic, you know, sort of boring looking car bots that they had before. So they're two shows that I might be or two toy lines I'll be looking to buy into in the near future. But for now, it's just been a review of this guy, and as I said, he's a pretty cool bot. He looks great, nice aesthetic, good car mode, but just let down by lack of joints, as is always the case. So I've been TFR Wilderness. Sorry for the little question mark on the channel sort of thumbnail picture. I'm just trying it to see if it improves my viewing figures on the KTRT reviews, but who knows? It may or may not work. I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see. But I've got another KTRT bot that I will be reviewing next week. So that's been me, TFR Wilderness. I will catch you all next time. Ta-da.